Hello, New Zealand. It is Wednesday. Here I am still clicking on things, getting us going. There we go. Wednesday morning, hump day, middle of the week. And we've got some breaking news for you. You won't believe this one. Let's get into it. This is Daybreak. Yeah, there we go. It is, what is it, May the 13th. And I always get, there we are. I got the right side there. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe, then get notified when we go live. In fact, look, please, one thing that you can really do to help us, you're probably thinking, how can I support Family First and Daybreak and Solid Ground and Political Playback and Straight Talk and everything? Please share them. Share these videos. Even now, as you're watching, share it to your timeline. And that means that it increases the reach and more people are aware of what we're doing. All right, I have got a bit of a doozy of a story that I just got sent literally about 15 minutes ago that I'll come to. But just before I do that, on a positive side, the media actually did a really nice tribute to Mary Grant, Mother of the Nation, using a quote that we put out there. And it was done in the Wairarapa Times Age. Now, Mary Grant was actually born, I think, in Lower Hutt, or was it Upper Hutt? One of the two. And it's just a lovely, lovely tribute to Mary Grant. So there we are. Credit for the media sometimes when they deserve it. Of course, yeah. So it is a beautiful article. Anyway, look, my favorite quote of the week, which I just have to keep playing just to have a laugh, is that, as I played on Monday, that so-called expert from One News, that political expert who was commenting on the rise of conservative parties, One Nation in Australia, Reform in the UK, and even what we're seeing in New Zealand, and I will come back to the latest polls on that. But remember, this was the new term that is around. It's no longer far right. We have got worse, apparently. Here's the new term.
The second thing, of course, is there's a global movement around what we might call right and more far right sort of party. The party.
Right. Okay, so welcome to the right party. If you want to be right, you're in the right place. And as I say with far right, so far we've been right. So anyway, they think it's an insult, but I don't think it actually is. Speaking of insults, though, so here we are. Here's an exclusive story for you. Harrison just sent this through to me just before, and it is this. John Minto has set up a new political party, and it's for the elimination of Israel. Yeah, the Palestine free from the river to the sea. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, this is going to get about 0.01% of the vote. You know, it'll probably be all those who were voting for the legalized cannabis party will just transfer across to the Palestine free from the river to the sea party. But here's the worst part. You're helping pay for this. According to the broadcasting allocation for this year, the Free Palestine party there is actually going to get the same amount of funding as the Conservative Party and the Aotearoa Legalised Cannabis Party and the Justice Party. So there we are. It's only just come on the scene and it's getting the same amount of money as the Conservative Party that's been around for, well, over a decade, isn't it? So you are paying for this new political party. That's how warped our system is. And yeah. It's a shocker. Anyway, speaking of politics, that's an exclusive to Daybreak. There we go. Thank you, Harrison, for that little hat tip there. Right. Judith Collin did her valedictory speech yesterday. She's been in politics a long time. And can I just say that I think that Judith Collin has been indicative of where the National Party is headed on the whole social conservative side of issue. And I want to show you why. I mean, if you look there on our Value Your Vote, her family values score, we gave her 29%, which I think is like a fail. And the interesting thing, though, is how it has changed, because way back when we first started Family First, and in fact just before that, Judith Collins was actually very socially conservative in terms of her voting. She voted for the marriage definition bill, which was clearly to define marriage as one man, one woman. That was in 2005. She also was a key leader on the parental notification issue for teenage abortions. She was a bit of an ally there. And then she also opposed euthanasia in 2003. So she was voting very well. But then something happened. And, you could say the National Party, did they lose their backbone, or just a whole lot of them went woke? And it started very early. The other one positive for Judith Collins was that she said she voted no in the cannabis referendum. Okay, so those are the good things. But these are all around the 2000s, and then just the cannabis referendum. Then we look at her voting record. She supported euthanasia, 2019. She opposed conscientious objection or conscience provisions for health professionals for euthanasia. She supported so-called safe zones to stop people praying and doing ministry anywhere near an abortion outlet. So you can protest anywhere you like except an abortion outlet where they're killing unborn children, interestingly. Her whole vote for the radical abortion law, she supported the abortion law and opposed every measure designed to make it a little bit more reasonable, if you could say the word reasonable. Then when it came to conversion therapy, she supported conversion therapy and opposed, or either didn't vote. Actually, she didn't vote for a few of them, so she couldn't even bother turning up. But she didn't vote for any of the amendments on conversion therapy. What's she in Parliament for? Okay, and then when it birth certificates, she supported birth certificates. So to me, Judith Collins is an example of where the National Party has gone. Originally in the 2000s, quite socially conservative, and then during 2010s and then into the 2020s, they've gone woke. And look, we'll come back to the polling in a minute. But when I was doing the research on Judith Collins' voting record, I did come across this little chart that I'd put together when Bill English had stepped down. And they were looking at possible replacement leaders. And so yellow means that they've voted well on these issues. Let me just enlarge it. So look, I'm looking at that was the other thing about Judith Collins, is that in 2005, she voted for marriage to be one man, one woman. But then in 2013, suddenly she supported same-sex marriage. So, yeah, quite a bit of turning there. Anyway, here we go. So, as you can see, Simon Bridges had a lot of yellow, very good voting record. So did Shane Retty. But you'll note there that there's a couple of people that have been suggested as possible leaders who haven't done well. Chris Bishop, lots of black there. Erica Stanford, lots of black. Nicola Willis. So there's an example. Even Mark Mitchell, sort of half and half there. And so you'll see that the National Party have definitely moved to the left in terms of social conservatism, apart from Simon Bridges and apart from Shane Retty. And of course, if we look at Chris Luxon, the problem was that he wasn't an MP for a lot of those votes, but I suspect, and actually I noticed there that we gave him decriminalisation of abortion. We said oppose, but we said that based on his public comments. I think we could probably change that now, wouldn't we? So that just gives you an idea of why National are losing their way, because they're not sure where they stand. And that's why conservatives, social conservatives, are leaving National Party. Anyway, speaking of that, let's have a look at the latest polls. And here's the latest polls. I'm just going to get the numbers up here so I can show them to you. The latest polls is that Labor has dropped 1.5 there, you can see. National, little increase. Now, I think this is a bit of a weird poll because it says that New Zealand First and ACT have both dropped, but Te Pāti Māori and the Greens have gone up. And I don't know on what basis on that, because I don't the Pāti Maori are imploding and the Greens are doing nothing. And people are starting to call them out. Anyway, if you look at left and right, so National Act, New Zealand First versus Labour, Greens, Pāti Māori, you will see that the centre-right government, the current government, is still in the box seat. Preferred Prime Minister, oh, look at that. Hipkins has dropped below the Prime Minister. So I guess the Prime Minister won't be getting stopped at the airport on his way to congratulate him and ask him why he's polling so well, will they? No, the media won't be waiting for him at Wellington Airport this time. They'll just, they might not say. Anyway, a lot of people have said, they've said about this grand coalition of Labour and National forming the government together because we don't want ACT in New Zealand. It's never about Greens or Te Pāti Māori. It's just ACT in New Zealand first. They're mean minor parties and we don't want them near there. So the commentary is, what about a grand coalition between National and Labour? And Chris Luxon was asked about this, and I think his answer was pretty clear.
We need to work with New Zealand First and ACT. We're very comfortable doing so, and we've proven we can work very well together over the last couple of years.
A grand coalition with Labour, can you rule that out today?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. That would be incentive. I mean, I am cleaning up the ungodly mess that Labour left this country. They want to borrow more, tax more, spend more. They don't deliver anything, and they've got no ideas. So basically, I know that's a lot of curiosity for the Beltway, but that ain't happening.
No, it ain't happening. And if you hear commentary on that, just laugh it off. And it's actually Audrey Young, Matthew Hooton. I mean, people you think might have a bit of brain power to figure out this, but it's kind of like, gee, I've got to write an article this week. What shall I write about? Oh, I know. Let's write about something radical like Labour and National joining in Parliament. So anyway, it's filling up the pages. Just this poll of polls. Don't know why that's so far out the right. It just shifted over. But the interesting thing about the poll of polls is just this gradual decline of the Greens. And so this is the poll of polls is taking all the polls that we're getting, virtually every week, and it takes the average, and you can see that the Greens are just in free fall. But remember that Chloe says that the Greens are actually the leader of the opposition.
Do you think you're leading the opposition rather than the Labour Party?
I think that that's a pretty evidence-based position, yeah.
Pretty evidence-based position. Well, not if you look at this particular graph, that would suggest that, no, definitely not the leader of the opposition. All right. Now, Te Pāti Māori, they're not going too well either. They are imploding, and there are claims of misogyny and bullying.
The Kaitokero Party is here.
And just like that, Maria Mino Kapakingi calls it quits on Te Pāti Māori.
That model, which is a misogynist model, which is a bullying model, there's no place for those things.
Telling the Hui's Julian Wilcox she'll contest the Te Tai Tokerau seat under her new regionally focused party, the Te Tai Tokerau Party.
Well, I actually just found out hopping off the plane this afternoon, and wish her all the luck with it.
The announcement comes after months of bitter infighting, initiated when Maria Meno's son publicly accused Te Pāti Māori of behaving like a dictatorship.
That's a model of the leadership's way or the highway.
The High Court later ruled Maria Meno's expulsion unlawful, and while reinstated on paper, she says the conditions she set for her return were never met.
The change of leadership, the reinstatement of Te Taitonga, Doc, Tākuta Whereas, and public apologies. Now, nothing has come from me putting those positions clearly.
The National Council ruled against those particular demands.
Tākuta Whereas has confirmed he'll contest Te Taitonga as an independent. But questions remain about the future of remaining Te Pāti Māori MPs Hana Rāwhiti Maipi Clark and Orini Kaipara.
Yeah, well, sort of an update on that. Orini Kaipara says no, she's going to stay with Te Pāti Māori, and Tākuta Whereas says he's going to announce today or sometime this week whether he's going to stay or go independent. So look, the Māori Party are completely imploding. Fascinating to watch. After all the unity of the Treaty Principles Bill and the Hikoi 18 months ago, and they have completely blown all that noise. And although interestingly, there's still, that's the bottom line down the bottom there, the Māori Party is still sitting around 3 to 4%. But remember, they have to win a seat. If they're under 5%, they have to win a seat. And in every Maori electorate now, you have got Te Pāti Māori, the independents, and you've also got the Labour Party, who's desperate to take back those Māori seats, because Labour knows that if they have to go into coalition with Te Pāti Māori after the election, it's going to be problematic. I mean, they talk about, it was going to be a massive problem with Labour, with National Act and New Zealand First holding the coalition together. It has been like a dream compared to what it could be like. And then you add in the Greens, of course. Another fascinating graph that I just saw was the gender voting gap. So this is basically showing, let me just enlarge it for you. This is showing elections since 1996. So that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 elections. And basically, see where the word out the far left says OPP, that basically means that it's even male and female vote. So for the Greens, what it shows is that it's a more dominant female vote. For Labour there, you'll see this massive spike in 2020, which of course was the vote for Jacinda, and then the massive plummet. So very strong female vote. National sort of overlaps the line, but slightly more male vote. New Zealand First, more male vote, and ACT, very male vote. Okay, so just interesting how the genders approach all of this. The Opportunities Party, they are true socialists. They're going to give a universal basic income. So, yep, every millionaire and billionaire is going to get a universal income from top. But, of course, then they're going to get taxed to the hilt. So this is efficient government, isn't it? Like true socialists, the Opportunity Party want to basically give out money and then take it back again. Why not just not take it? You know, be fiscally conservative. But no, that's not the Opportunities Party. Oh, and you may be interested to know, if you are thinking of heading off to the gym, how the Opportunities Party is being funded. According to a report in Newsroom today, it's Les Mills. Les Mills Gyms. Philip Mills, who runs the Les Mills gym line, apparently they are funding the Opportunities Party. So there we are. Maybe if you're thinking of going to a gym, you might want to have a about that particular one. All right. Actually, I just realized that I didn't just quickly check the newspapers for you. So let's just quickly do that. Not a lot of big news. New Zealand Herald is about an engineer who tried to use special meta glasses to film people. It's a bit creepy. And the Maori Queen has met Prince William at Windsor Castle this morning. In Stuff, it's about a teacher in Marlborough who apparently is pretending to be a war hero, but they're questioning whether he really is. In Wellington, the Post, Luxon is going to say that economic discipline is a national security issue. Basically, geopolitics means that we need to be spending wiser and basically not blowing the budget. Maybe Luxon should just say, actually, it's good fiscal management not to blow the budget. This is a bit that gets me. Every home has to tighten their belt to deal, not to go into debt. But governments and politicians, they don't seem to have that same concern. It always amazes me. In Christchurch, the Press, apparently, you ratepayers, you're giving another 15 million to the proposed Christchurch Cathedral, even though public support for that decision is at 14%, according to the Press. In Radio New Zealand, they're talking about rescuers had to wait an hour to rescue a man and some dogs stranded in the Waimakariri River. Okay. And there's also the story about that Kiwi who's been detained in the US under ICE. And yeah, the media are on this one, but there seems to be some stuff that we're not being told. There's more to that story. And I'd like to find out actually what's going on. They're saying that she just had a cannabis conviction, and yet she's been held and shifted around the country. I'd like to know a bit more about that one. One News, the Maori Queen meets with Prince William at Windsor Castle, and News Talk ZB is about the wearing the glasses, the sneaky glasses. All right, let's carry on with what we were covering. Now, where we're up to, the media is still upset. The media is still upset that the standard that the media apply when they go after people has been applied to them. And yeah, they've been hounded. They've been hounded. And opposition MPs are interestingly the ones who are saying this. It sort of actually indicates, doesn't it, that opposition MPs get favour from our left-wing media, which isn't surprising, of course. And so therefore they're much more likely to come in and defend. To me, it's always been, this Maiki Sherman issue has been an example of poorly handled media relations. But the fascinating thing, it's by the media themselves. I mean, my understanding is that if something like this comes up, the best thing the person can do is front the media and quell the rumours, put out the apology, front up to it, and then it goes away. But what happened in this case? They tried to bury it. They sued other media outlets that were going to report it. And then they, and eventually when it was released, she went to ground. And it's kind of like an amazing lesson on how not to deal with a situation like this. But anyway, they are very upset. Radio New Zealand says that the media are under fire from all angles. Yes, apparently, you know, because of BSA and because of distrust in the media and also, you know, the way the media are behaving and getting called out for it. Can newsrooms get back on track to regain public trust? Well, that's a very good question. I don't think they can, because as someone rightly pointed out in Stuff, in their political section, they had 7 stories on one particular day, and look at the name on 3 of them. Yeah, the go-to political expert by Stuff, Helen Clark. Yeah. So, yeah, not great at all. Now, the other big story yesterday, which is quite funny actually, is the fact that there's been this social media account that's been trolling, and it goes after Christopher Luxon, and it's pretty objectionable stuff. I mean, I'm just going to show this briefly, but this is the type of stuff that you see on it. I've had to actually censor the name that they called him on the Zoom call. Pretty objectionable, but basically Chris Hipkins was saying that they denied any links to a troll account, but then he's now admitted that actually he wasn't telling the truth, that they did know who it was, and it was an ex-Labour Party staffer. And what makes it even funnier is that it's also had some homophobic content. Let me just show you a little bit of the type of content. Just beware, some of this is a bit dodgy. I'll just show a little bit of it.
A lot of men in a shower. That's what we're trying to do here, is really understand male needs. Guys have much bigger hands. Slay.
That one was grotesque as well.
Yeah, what I'd just say to you is...
Yep. And then this one, this is for Easter. Yeah, okay, and it doesn't get any better than that. Now, look, there isn't the association. The person still doesn't work for Labour, apparently. But the problem is that, as we showed you, originally they denied any knowledge or connection. And this is where the story kind of gets funny, because due to some super sleuth work, they figured out that an official Labour Party account featured a toaster. Let me show you. So on the left is out of the official Labour Party account 2 years ago, and it showed this toaster. And then out of this grotesque account that they just called out, that I just showed you, on the right they had this one with Luxon in it. So the Willis 2 years ago, Luxon this time. But here's the interesting thing, same toaster. So some super detective figured out that it was the same toaster. And that means that effectively somebody actually in the Labour Party office was there, because this toaster is in the Labour Party area. The media asked Chris Hipkins about this.
They've posted recently in which the vision looks to be shot in Parliament. How would they have got that?
I have no idea. I haven't seen that.
Do you recognise this toaster?
No, I don't.
It's just from the kitchen round there.
Right. Oh, look, I can't
How would
comment
they
on
have
that.
got that?
I have no idea. Would you be
That is pretty super sleuth work to figure out two toasters separate, but one coming from an official Labour account and one coming from this derogatory account that has homophobic and other objectionable means, including the C word, the F word, and bestiality. So that's how dodgy the site is. And Chris Hipkins was asked if he knows about this. Now, as you watch this video, you'll see that he is not coping very well.
Had anything to do with any social media accounts that are posting disparaging content about the Prime Minister?
Well, some of our own. I mean, we've made plenty of critical comments about the Prime Minister.
Other than Labor's own?
I mean, there are certainly plenty of people that, working with the Labor, associated with Labor, who post their own social media content.
Have you fed any content to any of the social media accounts that are posting disparaging content about the Prime Minister?
I mean, we talk to other people who do social media content all of the time.
Like who?
Yeah, okay, not coping very well with that. I'll be interested to see where that story goes. Look, on the positive side, I think they have done some, as I've shown you. I've been showing you Labour and National, some of their media that does go after the opposition, and some of them is quite funny and creative. Some of it is lame. This was the latest one from Labour. This is on the official Labour account.
Mate, what's going on? Seriously?
Yeah, 40,000 more Kiwis unemployed now. And
Mate, what's going on? Seriously?
Yeah. So they're trying to make out that he doesn't know. I don't know how they get this footage, actually. Is this private footage that somehow they get access to, or does Chris post this?
On, seriously?
Okay, maybe Luxon posts this. It's quite funny. Here was Labour's own post, and I thought this was a bit lame. Hipkins pledges to keep moving forward rather than pushing pause. Okay, I have no idea what that's getting at. Is that the greatest marketing line for a political party, or is it the worst? Hipkins pledges to keep moving forward. Okay, interesting. All right. Now let's just have a look at a couple of other news stories. Oh, the media are suddenly all over school lunches and how good they are. And remember yesterday, on Monday, I told you that they did this article that they said that lunches were unhealthy and they were dangerous, and kids were getting poisoned by them and they were terrible. And then suddenly this week on Monday or over the weekend, they were actually saying, actually, the school lunches are so good that we want to take them home and share them with the community. So that was a bit of a turnaround, wasn't it? Anyway, the latest one that I saw, which was yesterday, was an article about the difference a humble school lunch can make. And it looks at the research just about how good nutrition and eating during the day helps kids be settled and focus and concentrate. The interesting thing about this article, I thought, was that back in 2018, I actually did a deep dive into the research around family dinners and looked at all the research and found the same actual results. The functioning of kids, the functioning of families, the health of families, the interaction, the support of teenagers through those difficult years. Actually, family dinners was one of the key indicators of families sitting together and having meals together. So here's the newsroom, a left-wing website that says that the state feeding kids would bring around better families and community, whereas Family First puts out an article saying that families sitting together and having meals together, and especially dinner time together as much as and as often as possible, is actually the solution. It goes back to families. Left-wingers want it to go back to the state. We want it to go back to strong families. Speaking of strong families, interesting comparison here. New Zealand Herald repeated this article from the New York Times. There's something funny going on about marijuana, and you may not have noticed it, but suddenly there is this sudden deluge of articles about warning about the possible harms of marijuana, cannabis, dope, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself, it's just sort of happened in the last couple of months. Why is that? I'll tell you why. The reason is because, and this is a decision that I disagree with Trump on, Trump has changed the regulation of marijuana in the States to enable more research to be done around so-called medicinal marijuana. And look, the research has been done, and in fact, the New York Times article acknowledges that and finds that it's only suitable for very limited situations. Mainly for medicinal marijuana seems to have benefits for spasticity, for example, Parkinson's, and also for during cancer treatment. But it seems to be more acting as a placebo for a lot of other sicknesses. And but why is the media suddenly saying actually cannabis might be a good thing? Well, it's because Trump has rescheduled it. So because they're so opposed to Trump, because Trump has suddenly said, oh, there might be some benefits about marijuana. Now, what are the media saying? Oh, no, let's be careful. No, I don't think there are benefits about cannabis. It's fascinating to watch. And that's why you will see a whole lot of articles at the moment. And there's one in the Herald today, this one, What Doctors Want You to Know About Cannabis and Health. They wouldn't have printed that during the cannabis referendum. I can promise you. We saw none of this. We were trying to compensate by putting out the research because the media did not want to talk about the fact that medicinal cannabis was completely overhyped. And that's why the market for medicinal cannabis in New Zealand isn't strong and businesses are going under. So because they can't handle the regulation, because in fact, I still remember the time that I went on a fact-finding mission and I went to Vancouver in Canada where they'd legalized cannabis, and they had these government stores and they had government medicinal marijuana stores. And I went into a medicinal marijuana store in Vancouver and I wanted to see just how easy it would be to actually get the marijuana. And so you had to fill in this form and you had to put down what your illness was that you needed the medicinal marijuana for. And I said to the person at the counter, this is a government-run medicinal marijuana store in Vancouver. I said, do I need to provide a medical certificate or, proof that what I say is the problem that I need the dope for? And they said, no, just write down what your problem is. Sore back, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of how loose it is. Now, the other interesting story, fast running out of time. The other interesting story is just in the Herald. They're talking about having a go at Donald Trump because he shared a post on Truth Social calling for Barack Obama's arrest. Now, you may already think that's a good idea, but anyway, here's the post, and it's fascinating because basically he's just reposted somebody who's talking about the fact that Trump's campaign may have been spied on in 2016 when he was first running for president. Remember, Obama was president up until then, and then Trump took over in 2016, and the claims are that his campaign was spied on, Trump's campaign. But look at the bit that I highlighted. It's that it was instructed the Five Eyes to do some of the spying. Now, who's in the Five Eyes? New Zealand is in the Five Eyes. Here's the big issue for today. Was New Zealand involved in spying on Trump in 2016? Now, you'll only get the article that Trump's a bad man because he posted something that questioned Barack Obama. So that's all you'll hear in this narrative. But the interesting thing is that could New Zealand be implicated in this? Yeah, very interesting. Right now, I'm just about out of time. Just a reminder, I'm still getting messages that some groups are still doing Pink Shirt Day. A lot of energy has gone out of Pink Shirt Day. They haven't even updated the website really. And so what we've done is we've just reposted the blog I did last year doing a complete deep dive expose that Pink Shirt Day is actually LGBT-indoctrination Day, and it's a day that is used to fund groups, radical groups like Inside Out, Burnett Foundation, Mental Health Foundation, push the whole LGBT indoctrination in schools. And they promote dodgy stuff, lots of drag queens, etc. So make sure you check that McBlog, or just Google LGBT indoctrination shirt day McBlog, and you will see that episode come out. Right. Shall I finish? Let me just finish with a bit of a funny today. So there was this big rise of reform in the UK, but because Labour's vote completely plummeted. Oh, Keir Starmer, I've been predicting that he's a goner. I predicted that on Monday. I'm still predicting it today. I think maybe by Friday he might have gone. Anyway, there's my prediction. Sir Keir Starmer. The Labour Party is just completely capitulated in the UK. The problem is they don't seem to have a replacement for him. But anyway, there's a new Green councillor. Remember I showed you the one last week on Monday with the interesting coloured hair, who didn't know what a woman was. She's a Green mayor. She also promotes drug use and, anti-Semitic. Doesn't seem to compliment the police when they take down anti-Semitic attacks. Anyway, this Green councillor the name is Mohammed Baghdadi Khan. Mohammed Baghdadi Khan. And the Greens are right into taxing cars and, the whole war on motorists. Anyway, he posted a video of himself, or they found a video of him driving a £270,000 Lamborghini. Let me just show you this. So here we are. He's in this Lamborghini. He posted it just days after he was elected. So it's worth, and they want to cut speed limits. They're anti-cars, just like the Greens in New Zealand. And I mean, £270,000 is what? That's 500. That's almost 600,000 New Zealand dollars
for
this car.
Take your friends with you. Take your family. Take your neighbours. Take everyone with you. Let's vote Baggy Khan.
That is funny. Okay. Yeah, £270,000 car, but he wants to tax cars and get cars off the road. It's kind of like, they sort of push this message, but they don't actually believe it themselves or live according to it. All right, I am out of time. Simon will be here tomorrow morning for Solid Ground, and tomorrow night, Political Playback at 5 o'clock. As you can see, lots to talk about, including these latest polls. It'll be interesting to see where this whole toastergate, shall we call it toastergate, and also, I need to do a little bit more research into that new John Minto party and the fact that you are helping fund to advertise it, which is a bit of a shocker. Anyway, have a great Wednesday, and we will see you Friday morning.